Hey everyone, Garrett here from CN Experience. Wanted to make this video. I wanted to make a follow-up video to my FAA Part 107 video that I made back on July 23rd. It's gotten quite a bit of comments, and I kind of want to reiterate my point of view, why I did the test, and kind of re-explain my point of view for the FAA and the test. So let's kind of start. Why did I do the test? Why did I pass? Why did I go through all these hoops if I'm just bitching about the whole entire thing? The reason why is not to make money in the US, because regardless, I would go make money with my drone regardless if I had it or not. That's the straight up facts. The only reason why I got the certificate or the card, whatever you want to call it, is because I can go fly in other countries a lot easier. If I do get stopped by a security guard, it's a nice piece of thing to show to a security guard in a foreign country, with all of that information on there. It gives me a lot of credentials, or it gives me a lot of power in that situation to kind of talk my way out, maybe not get in trouble, maybe just say, hey, stop flying. Literally the only reason why. When I fly in Jordan, when I fly in Ukraine, Colombia, Peru, all these other countries that I've been to and I've flown in, and I've had all these different circumstances that I've been flying in, it gives me a lot of power. Showing that and a $20 bill, you can go fly wherever you want in almost any country. That's just straight up the facts. When I was at Rainbow Mountain in Peru, I walked up to the security guard, gave him a $20 bill, showed him my card, and he gave me about an hour to go fly and capture whatever I wanted to capture. That's not really the case if you're just an average Joe. If you ask, I mean, sure, you can probably give them a 20, but it just helps that much more. And that's the only reason why I got it, is to just have that little extra oomph in getting me to fly in places I really shouldn't be able to fly in. But for the US, I don't give a rat's ass about it, because if I want to go make money, I'm going to make money. And that's my whole entire premise of why I think the FAA Part 107 test is silly. The questions are in there. Some are good. I actually really enjoyed some of those questions. I learned a lot. But some of them are pure nonsense. And if you want to say, hey, the FAA is good and we just need to follow the rules, hey, good for you. I'm not that. And a lot of people I know aren't like that. And I want to make this video re-explaining my view on the FAA Part 107 test. Anything that prohibits you from making an income that's set by the government, I think is wrong and I think is bad. That's it. If you want to try and require us, if you want to push for people to be certified and have a legitimate test, I'm all ears for that. And if you want to create more incentives from it, but you can't put this carrot and say, hey, the only way you can make any kind of money or any kind of compensation, whether that be money or material items or whatever, is by having this piece of plastic. Well, you can go fuck off. I'm not doing that. That's a bullshit hoop for people to jump through, and it's just a money thing. That's all. At the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just money, money, money. And hey, you got the piece of plastic, and you got to wait 3-4 months for that. I know some people waited longer. It took me. I got it right before I went to Peru in August. So that was actually pretty good timing for me. But again, the whole concept boils down to, do you believe that the government should put requirements or prohibit you from making money if you don't have a requirement? No, I don't. Now, that could boil down to different industries, and obviously I shouldn't be practicing medicine. That's fine. I'm talking about consumer drones and things less serious in nature. I don't think they should require anything. If I want to go make money, if I have the skill and if I have the talent, and believe me, I do, I should be able to go make money, and that FAA can go pound sand essentially. Now I know this is a controversial opinion because I read my comments and some of the people here are just basically eating the FAA's ass. But this is my opinion. If you don't like it, you can hit dislike. I'm not forcing anyone to watch this video. Again, if you don't like this and what my opinion is, don't watch it. Click off. Click dislike. But at the end of the day, it's silly and it's stupid and it's dumb. And I will continuously say that to require some of these questions on this test and to require the test at all in order just to make some money. So essentially, let's kind of break this down. I get a drone and I start practicing with it. It's a DJI Mini 2. Don't have to register it because that's another thing I hate about the FAA. I don't. Why do they need to know? They don't. It's same thing with firearms. No one needs to know what I have. Leave me the fuck alone. You don't need to know what I have. It's the same exact thing. So I bought a DJI Mini 2. I don't even know when. Last year, and don't have to register that because it's under 250 grams. Great. I start flying. I've watched a lot of videos on how to fly, practiced all of that, taken that on quite a bit of my trips internationally, and I've been able to get some pretty good footage from that. Now, if I want to make money from that, from flying that drone, I would still need that license according to the FAA. And to me, again, that's bullshit. It's pure bullshit if you're requiring someone to go through all these hoops to learn all of this essentially nonsense. It really is. For consumer drones and a consumer drone pilot, just to do real estate and just to make some cool travel videos and to work with a tour guide like I do and get paid doing that, it's nonsense. It really is. Now I know I'm going to have people saying, oh, I've had comments, oh, well, what if you're flying by airports? Well, I don't. So, well, what if you're at 12,000 feet? Well, I've been at 17,000 feet and I've been able to fly. I think that comes down to the individual person and knowing their limitations. I hiked Rainbow Mountain. It's almost at 17,000 feet. Once you get up to the top, been able to fly. I flew for over an hour, no issues. So any kind of questions that you kind of throw at me as, oh, what if, or you haven't thought of this? Well, I have thought of this. I've flown in a ton of different countries. I've been able to be shown and experience a lot of different ways to fly. Different experiences, different environments of flying, and I've been able to successfully do all of those, whether that be from the Middle East to South America to Europe to Canada to here. I've been able to do it all, no problems. So when I've gotten comments and I'm an unsafe drone pilot, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about, and it's I think a lot of people, especially on YouTube, don't say this. Because, you know, they're just trying to go about their day, and I respect that, whatever. A lot of the FAA and drone pilots, and they don't say anything negative about the FAA and their Part 107 test. And if I have to be the only person that will say something negative, that's fine. I will. It's, again, do you believe that the government should restrict or prohibit your income based off of a piece of plastic and passing the test? In this instance, and most instances, I don't think they should, and that's where I stand. Now, some of the questions, like I said, are good. I enjoyed them. I actually learned a lot from reading all this material. Not that it will apply to me or I will use it in any circumstance, but I just like learning that kind of stuff. Now, what I don't enjoy is when they throw in questions that I don't think should be on the test to test my knowledge about flying a drone. I think the ideal circumstance, if you want to have a test, if you want to push for people to be certified, is to have an in-person flight test. Um, and you could do a shortened down multiple question test and a flying test. I think that would be great. I would be all for that. You would see me be there, and you would see me flying and passing. But as it is right now, there's a bunch of flaws, and I don't think it's anything wrong to say that this is flawed, this is bullshit. And to be honest, most people I know in my circle, whether that be buddies from college who have drones and they do it professionally, or people I've worked with, they have drones with a roofing company and they make money off of it because they're flying and inspecting roofs. They're not taking the test. I can tell you that. I know for a fact they're not taking the test because it's a waste of their time and a waste of their money. They know how to fly the drone. They know what they're doing in the limited application of the drone, and that's all they need it for. And I know the FAA isn't going to do anything about that, just because A, they don't have the manpower, and B, if they're going after that small fish, then they really need to go find something to do, because then it's not about safety, it's about money. At the end of the day, if they're going after the small roofing company because they're not certified, because they're just trying to inspect houses to make their jobs easier and make a little bit more money, then it's really just about money. It's not about flying drones safely. So that's kind of where it comes down to. This task is either about having safe certified pilots, or it's about money. And it's really all about money. Welcome to the government. But to backtrack a little bit, I've flown quite a bit, flown hundreds of hours, flown probably a couple hundred hours outside of the US. And with that comes experience of flying at higher altitudes than the US. Colombia and Peru are great examples. Same with Ukraine. They have higher altitudes that you can climb to as your max altitude to fly at. I think Peru's at 500 or 600 feet, which is really cool. You can get some really awesome footage and shots from there. But you gotta be careful at some of the altitudes. At least for me, it did start to rain a little bit, but that's a side note. But with that, with countries having more relaxed laws or just different sets of laws, you actually get to be more well-rounded than just flying in the US. And that's my whole kind of premise is. I've done this quite a bit, and I know what I'm talking about because I've been all over the place and I've flown all over the place. And I don't care if the FAA says, oh, you can't fly in airports. Well, I don't fly around there. I live in DFW. It's a horrible place to fly. It really is. This place sucks to fly. It's always crazy windy here. Lots of restricted airspaces in Arizona. It's just not too enjoyable to fly here. But when I go down south for some of the jobs I have, some of the clients I have, I can fly a lot. I've done jobs in oil fields, looking at vapor recovery units, dual flares, all of this stuff. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But I've been able to do a bunch of these odd different jobs, and I'm not near anything that all these comments are saying. I'm not near airports. I'm flying safe. I know what I'm doing. I have all my settings set for the US when I'm flying in the US. When I go to different countries, I have my settings set for those countries, so I'm not breaking any laws, even though I easily could, and no one would do a damn thing about it. And that's being realistic. If I wanted to go fly at 800 feet, I fucking could, and no one would do a damn thing about it. That's really, I know people that fly 800, 900, 1,000 feet quite often, and they're just in photography. It's not like, oh, you're trying to inspect a windmill or a turbine or anything. They're just doing it because they can, and they know the FAA isn't going to do shit. Now, would I be shocked if the FAA views this video? No, not really. If they want to talk to me, I'll tell them to go pound sand. I don't want to have discourse with them unless it's for the purpose of making that test better. But again, I'm a little fish. I'm just a dude. I do whatever I want. I'm certified. I have it. Another thing I think everyone should know before applying and passing that test is if you don't, I forgot where it's at, so someone has to kind of remind me. But while applying for it, I'm pretty sure there's a box where you can hit like submit or a check off where some of your information becomes public. Your name's always going to be public in the database. So if I wanted to look up anyone, if I have their name or their ID number, I could look them up in that database. But if you check that box, or if you don't check, I forgot which one, it will show your address and it will show you any medical history that you've submitted. To me, again, why do you need that? You don't. Simple as that. No one needs to know my address and no one needs to know my medical history, especially with flying a consumer drone. That's as simple as it gets. Now, I do kind of just want to go over a couple of comments. I've gotten people that have posted the actual statute or law or whatever you want to call it. I get it. That's not what I'm saying is, oh, I didn't know it was in there. I'm sure it is in there because it's on the test. I'm pretty confident and capable of understanding that. The whole thing is, it shouldn't be in there. Most of these questions shouldn't be in there. That's the whole premise of that first initial video was, wow, I took this test and I studied all of this stuff and most of that stuff I studied wasn't in there. This is bullshit. And now I'm kind of just elaborating, saying, hey, all of this is bullshit. It's just a money thing. It's just a hoop for people to jump through, and it prohibits people from actually making money. And I know a lot of people, they don't give a rat's ass about that, and they just go do it. For me, I got it just so when I travel, it helps me out a little bit. Some people are saying, I had one guy who's kind of just like, oh, I'm a real pilot for 50 years. Cool, dude. Like, one person said, man, I just failed my exam by one. I think I was more disappointed to find that all the videos I watched were just outdated, and so many of them boasted that you'd get a passing score. And that's the truth. A lot of them are outdated. Another person said, took mine today, passed from 87. Unfortunately, they added questions not covered in the study guides in regards to remote ID, flying at night, flying over people in traffic. The FAA has no incentive to make this easy for people to pass because every time you fail, you pay again, as long as you want to pass. Why would they make that easy? Why would they make sure that most people pass on the first time? They wouldn't. It's the government. They want to take your money. Got some other people. I've been a real pilot for over 50 years and a drone pilot for a while now. These are not dumb questions. Yeah, they are dumb questions. Straight up are. But if you can't operate your drone safely without endangering other people, you have no business flying. The questions I highlighted don't do that. One of the questions I highlighted in my video was, if your lithium-ion battery ejects while flying, like what happens, what do you do? And I basically showed, at least on the main consumer drones, that's almost physically impossible. It really is. It's almost physically impossible. Why is that question on there? If someone has a drone that the battery ejects from, holy fuck, how do you even take off then? Like, it comes down to, drones don't turn on if the battery's not fully connected. And I don't know what you're doing unless you get hit by something, a bird, but still, most DJIs that I know of, that I've flown, there's almost no way of these batteries becoming disconnected mid-flight. That's essentially what it comes down to. This guy goes on to saying, yes, the physical ability to operate a drone can be affected by different things. Yes, I know that. But what I'm saying is, if I'm sitting in the back of my truck, there's nothing that will physically affect me. If I'm sitting in the back of my truck flying a drone in around Fort Worth, Texas, nothing's going to physically affect me. I'm sitting there. And the first question was, I was talking about like G-forces and becoming like lightheaded and all. And I said, I'm like, well, if you can't operate in a moving vehicle unless you're in a rural area, according to the FAA, then what are you doing? You're sitting there, you're standing still, right? Then how is this happening? Now that applies to actual pilots who are turning their planes and all. I don't want to say that, but it could happen through actual pilots, not drone pilots sitting on the ground. That's a good old T.D. Harrington, who just went on and on and on about this stuff. This person, Tiv, loves cars. He said it doesn't apply to 90% of the people. Does that mean the other 10% shouldn't be tested on those issues? Yes. I think no one should be going through this test. At the end of the day, no one should. That's my view. And I've already responded to that comment. They've never responded. But again, I wanted to make this video because I've gotten a lot of negative comments about this, and I wanted to kind of clear up my thoughts and my opinions on the FAA Part 107, what I think of it, why I think it's bad, why I think it's not necessary, and at the end of the day, do I think that people need it? No, I really don't. Legally, I have to say, if you want to make money, you have to get it, but at the end of the day, does the FAA have manpower to go after every small person just trying to make a buck? No. But that's all I have for you guys. Just want to kind of make this video. If you can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It all helps me out. Just trying to grow this channel. It's just a hobby for me. Like I said, I do digital advertising. I do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, website building. So that's what I kind of do for all my clients during the day. And just make these videos when work is a little slower, if I have something on my mind. Or if I travel somewhere, I kind of make recaps about my trips. I'll be making some more videos. I just got back from Egypt and Jordan. I want to discuss those trips and my thoughts on Egypt and Jordan. So thanks again, guys. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and talk to you guys next time.